Chronicles. I'm your host, Biba Sheik, and thank you for joining us on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Today, we're extremely honored to have with us an exceptional musician, composer, and singer who sings both in Chinese and English in her creations, which are very contemporary and ancient at the same time. We have Zhao Dong Wei with us here, a Chinese artist. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. Why don't we start by telling us about your work, your background, and your education, what you think, how you can, in any way you would like to do that.
Okay, I started when I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was musician, and
Oh.
he started teach me. He thought I was too young, so he started teach my older sister, who's 3 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the night when we started, and in my house. I have a lot of neighbors
Mm-hmm.
because my dad was the one. He put a black and white tube TV together. So that whole street, will come to my house to watch TV
Oh,
after
okay.
dinner.
Oh.
So the night when we started,
Yes.
the mic.
Yes.
So when we started, my dad started teach my sister, and I was watching, and because this is a two-string instrument, violin.
Mhm.
My dad, we called it outside and inside. So
we call it outside and inside. You said? You
this
can show us.
instrument
Yes.
is two strings,
Uh-huh.
and so the bow is tracked in between.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's inside is toward me, and then outside
Okay.
toward the audience. And so
Mm-hmm.
my dad, the way my dad started teaching her was, say, play twice outside, play twice inside,
Mm-hmm.
and one time this, one time that.
Uh-huh.
So she was react really slow when he was telling her, and I was watching. I was like, that looks so easy. And everybody laughed at me, and all my neighbors there, and they said, easy, you try it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I jumped out. I was laying on the bed, and I jumped out. I couldn't wait to get my hands on it.
Oh.
So I basically react to what my dad told me what to do, and
Mm-hmm.
I basically ripped off my sister's chance to,
Okay.
to study this instrument.
Uh-huh.
So I'm guilty.
Wow. Wonderful. And then you grew up playing it, and your dad taught you a lot of the base of what you know.
Yeah, so when I was 10 years old, my dad said, okay, it's a time to take you to see the world. So he
Mhm.
took me like a tour to Beijing, Shanghai, those big cities, and then we took a boat from Dalian to Shanghai. It was really, really fun, and to meet the Erhu masters in the country. We were introduced about our friends. So my dad just want a confirmation. He said, like, if I can do this for a living. So everybody we met said, yeah, she should go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the next year, we decided. My dad said, okay, let's take exam, try to get into the conservatory.
Mm-hmm. When you were 11 or 12, right?
When I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
So we took the test, and my dad said, okay. He got really, really, encouraged by all those comments last year when we were touring. He said, okay, we're going to go to the best music school or not, nothing. So my dad always have big dreams, always that way. Like he worked really hard, and he a dream,
Mm-hmm.
dreamer.
Yes.
So we did that, and then we took the exam, and I got into the Central Conservatory Music in Beijing, at the middle school,
Mm-hmm.
which is that time was the same campus with the college. When I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Congratulations. Would you be able to let us hear what this instrument sounds like?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You want me to do it now? Right
Sure.
Now? Okay. Move this. Need a little room. Little. Okay.
If you have any questions in this broadcasting, please don't hesitate to call in, comment, share, and let us know what you're thinking. Thank you so much. Wow.
Chair making little noise when I'm playing.
Yes. Yeah, I think we're all wow, humbled, and it's the first time I've ever heard this sound and this instrument, so it's I'm sure you would agree with me that this is a very special moment. Could you remind us again the name of this instrument?
So it's called the erhu.
Arho.
Yeah. Hu is like a Huqin family. Er in Chinese means two, so sometimes people think that's because it have two strings.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only one way to say it. Mostly it's the second highest tone Hu in the Huqin family. So
Okay, so
not
that's what I
all-
wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
You said the Hutin family. Is that
yeah.
is that related to tones and music?
Yeah, the Hu actually in the ancient days, people call Mongolians the Hu. So there's a saying that this instrument is from Mongolia, but lots of them disagree.
Okay.
So Hu Jin we have like we call Gao Hu. Gao means high, so the tone is really high, and then we have erhu, and then we have a zhonghu is lower, and then sihu, dahu, all kind of hu.
Okay. Yeah, and what is the difference between Chinese music, scale-wise, and Western music?
So the Chinese traditional music is pentatonic. We don't have a fa and ti, and that's a big difference. Tone-wise. So sometimes when you hear music, right, it's why that sounds Chinese, because we're lack of two notes.
Okay,
we skip
all
the
right.
two notes. So in the piano, if you play the 5 black keys,
Yeah.
if you don't know how to write a Chinese song, that's a secret.
Okay.
Just write song on all black keys, you'll be Chinese.
Yes, and yeah, so there are no, like in Arabic music, quarter tones or other
No.
in-between tones. I
You
thought
talk
there
about
were.
that. It's very interesting because I did perform with an Iranian musician, and then when I was on the backstage, that was my first time that I played with an Iranian musician, Middle Eastern, and when I was on the backstage, I was hearing the stage playing. I said, "Oh my God, they're out of tune." So my friend who said, "Oh, perfect for my ear." Oh, I just got that. Oh, I did that at the time. I didn't know I was like quarter tone, so that was very interesting.
Yeah, and now I'm getting curious about what happens at the conservatory also, because I just had a flash of, I know that, for example, African musicians, when they go to the conservatory or music school, the first year of their studies is all about making their own instruments. So probably that's not the case here, but
I
what?
wish we did that though.
Yeah.
I wish we did that. No, we didn't learn anything about making the instrument. That's
Okay.
too bad.
Okay.
But first thing we go there is to you must learn piano.
You have to learn piano.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And what kind of piano? Like Chinese piano
no.
or Bach?
No.
Bach?
Yeah, Bach, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, and then Bach is my number one.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bach so much. So yeah, Western piano, and then we learn to read Western music notations, because when we learn this instrument, the difference is the sheet music looks different.
So do you think that kind of sheet music came into the picture one day, like before there was no music and it was just being taught from musician to musician, and then suddenly they decided to adapt the system of writing music down? And when did that happen?
Yeah, in the Chinese ancient days, they use letters, like the guqin, one of the most ancient instrument probably in the world. They write in letters. I wish I brought one. I can show you.
Yeah.
But they don't have a rhythm. They'll tell you what position and in that, and then which string, which is guqin is a 7th string. So they'll tell you where, but no rhythm. So when people found those documents, very ancient documents, only have that, then they start translating, right? And different composer, different player have a different version of the same song. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, and then I believe, yes, one time this was taught, passed down people, and then I'm not sure when they start using the music, but the music, I think they adopted, they said, from the France. So that's why our music looks like Western. I mean, the value can totally translate to like an 8th note.
Yes.
You have a stem, and then one line to connect to. So we have beam, the one beam. If you have one beam connect to, that's the 8th note. In Chinese, we'll just have the numbers. The Chinese notations are numbers.
Okay.
So from 1 to 7, do re mi fa sol la ti.
Okay.
And if we have an octave, we'll put a dot on top of the number or the bottom. If we have two octave, we'll have 2 dots. So so the value translates to that. If in the Chinese notation, two eighth note will have the number and have one stem, which is your beam to that.
Wonderful. And now I want to ask you, after going through all the conservatory, then when you reached the age of 18, then you went out in the world as a musician, or did you go into some other further studies? And how did you make the bridge from classical music and ancient music to contemporary? So that's a two-part question. So I'm wondering all of that, but the main question that I wanted to ask you was, how would you describe yourself as an artist? And I'm just gonna before Xiaodong explains this to us, I'd like to remind you that we are watching Creative Chronicles on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Share, like, subscribe, and comment, and thank you so much for watching WJZZ. And if you just tuned in, our guest is, as I said, Xiaodong Wei, and she is a contemporary and ancient musician and a composer, singer, and works with a fusion of American and Chinese sounds and compositions. So,
Yeah.
yes.
At the conservatory, actually, I graduated. I studied there 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I 18 I was in college. I graduated when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, when I was growing up, we couldn't hear much about the Western, like, rock music. I remember John Denver. We hear Western classical music and a little bit country. That's
Yes.
about it.
Oh, yes.
And so and then later China opens more, and then we can hear more of the music. And then when I was in college, I always liked to sing and just play piano.
Mm-hmm.
For fun. And we had after I graduated, I worked in the orchestra called the Motion Picture Orchestra.
Uh-huh.
Now it's they were separate. Now they combined with the national China National Orchestra
Uh-huh.
of Chinese music musicians, and I worked there for 4 years before I moved to Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And when I was in college, we started hear lots of rock music. Starting the Chinese rock and roll started to develop
Mm-hmm.
at time, and then I joined the band as all girl woman band
Mm-hmm.
girl. Okay, I'm learning that word for many years. Girl,
Uh-huh.
all girls band,
Yes.
and I played the keyboard in that band,
Mhm.
and I had a lot of fun. And then when I came here, hung out with a lot of Chinese guitar players, rock and roll producers at the time.
Mhm.
So
Are you when you came to Detroit?
no, when I was in China,
Okay.
before I came here,
Mhm.
that's what I got exposed to different
right.
kind of music, and
Mhm.
that time
It was kind of like
know,
preparing you for coming to
Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah, there's I know Led Zeppelin. Before I came here, I know Led Zeppelin. I started learn about Enya. I started know Bjork that
Uh
time.
huh. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that
Mhm.
just really, really refreshing for me. Like, oh wow, it's
Mhm.
very different. So when I came here to U.S., I drove a lot across the country to do actually trade shows. I did something different.
Mhm.
When in the end, the end of the year when I was working in the orchestra, and I have a friend who worked for American, and he said, "You want to come?" So she invited me
Mhm.
to dinner, and we had dinner with the American, her boss, and said, "You want to come to America? Take a look." Oh, sure.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
he invited me. Then I came here. We drove a lot to. I was helping him do trade shows. He had a
Mhm.
military surplus business.
Okay.
So when I was driving on the road, I heard lots of different music. I really, really fall in love with the variety of music.
Yeah.
So that's how this all
Amazing.
started.
And what year was that you came to Detroit?
That was 1998, first time.
Yes,
when
Bjork was around that time.
Yeah.
Yes, and so since you've come here, then you started doing concerts, and how did you start seeing yourself as an artist? How would you describe yourself as an artist?
Well, when I came here, another eye opening is my ex-husband. He's a big rock and roll fan, and he had a band before. So I always play classical. One time we were playing a gig at a Magic Bag. He said, "Why don't you smash your arm? Make some noise, you know?" Noise? No, I cannot make noise. Like, that time we just started playing. Oh, he's the one that encouraged me to start playing, because when I came here, I didn't think anybody want to hear the arhu. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to do here yet. I'm maybe thinking about going to school, study something.
And now I have to go back to China and ask, how was your dad feeling about this? The one who put you on this path of arhu.
Yeah, my dad, when he came visit in Detroit, I actually invited him to play a concert. So that was concert. It's half classical. The first half is classical, and the half is the band that was at the Arabic Museum. And
yes.
And my dad played a song with me. It's a rock and roll song. But when we practice at home, we can hear everything we have. But on the stage, it was really loud, and we play, live. It's really exciting. And he was angry. I mean, after concert, I couldn't hear nothing, So but he was, he's like lots of surprise for him, like, oh, And then he said, "Dad, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna perform on this." And oh, yeah, I was always kind of surprised, but he's pretty proud. I think he's my supporter.
Why don't we play one of your songs, okay? I'm gonna put the first song on.
Okay.
And you can tell us about it afterwards.
Okay.
Here we go. Here is the song. I'm getting it on. 1, 2, and 3. I hope there's no. Oh, very good. Okay. That's beautiful. Uh, how do you prepare for a concert? How far in advance, and what do you do, and what is this piece about?
That piece is called Homemade Caprice, the red plum caprice.
Oh.
It's written by composer Hou Yuanwu. He's a professor in my school, the Central Conservatory of Music in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that piece so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 20 minutes concerto, so we played on a part of it.
Okay. And when you get ready for a concert, do you start rehearsing for it many months before? Do you practice many hours a day? What's your I know it's being what you are is a lifestyle in itself.
Yeah, if I'm playing with the orchestra piece, like concerto piece, that'll be like few months,
Mm-hmm.
start to practice. I mean, of course, I practice often.
Mm-hmm.
Not every day.
Mm-hmm.
I should be playing every day,
Uh-huh.
but not.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's just a concert, like a solo piece, like a few minutes, I don't particularly prepare for that. I just
Mm-hmm.
because the years of practice, I know what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Just
Mm-hmm. And I know you have a daughter, you mentioned
Yeah.
when I was speaking with you.
Yeah.
And is she going into the arts at all?
Well, she used to play 4 instruments.
Uh-huh.
Now she only have one left because she keeps telling me I don't want to be a musician.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I had put her, she performed with me when she was 5 years old on stage. She was playing the drum set,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of fun because when I was pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
all I think about her is I want to perform with her. I dream about it every day. I still want
Oh
her
my
to do
God.
this, but I'm not pushing her. But I want to give her the basic. I know she loves music. She just don't like practice like most kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to give her the basic, foundation that if
Mhm.
someday she want to
Mm-hmm.
go full time, she can.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And apart from your father, what kind of I think we did touch upon a little bit, but what are the influences on your work and on your life? Who are these people that influenced you the most, and why did they influence you the most, and when did they influence you the most?
most important people in your life is first your parents. In a sense, my dad, not as only as a parents, as a teacher, he take me
Mhm.
under this path. He's and my dad always study. He just loves study, and he
Mhm.
even when he's 75 years old, he plays flute, the Chinese bamboo flute,
Mhm.
and there's a technique called circulation braiding technique.
Yes.
And also Western flute use it,
Uh-huh.
and he started doing that. He studied anything. He just, you know, the I think he influenced me so big because he plays many instruments.
Mhm.
That really made a big difference for me because
Mhm.
mostly my classmates in my school, this conservatory,
Mhm.
nobody plays more than like 2, right?
Yes.
We have to play the piano in the school, and then your major instrument. That's the most students do that.
I
And
have to do the station ID, and then you're going to continue telling us.
okay,
You're watching Creative Chronicles on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for watching WJZZ streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and other top social media channels. Thank you very much. Yes, continue.
okay. So my dad, just the way he loves study,
Mhm.
and he says bar real high. Like I said, when we first start, I want to go to the music school. He said, "We're going to the best one." Or nothing. He's like that.
And who taught him? Who taught him music?
Oh, he's self-study, self-taught.
Oh
Actually,
my God.
my grandpa and my grandpa's brother, they both worked in the temple as a musician. So they both play instrument. But my dad's he plays so many instruments, lots of them self-taught. So he loves study, and he thinks I should be studying every day, which I do. And but his spirit just I now I more think about it. Just that's why I like, okay, if I can impress my dad, that'll be that was one of them. I think all in general, all children want to impress their parents. That was the in back in their mind and heart. That's what they want to do. For me, even more. So when I first, I always think I'm not good enough. Like I can do better. I can do better. Always do that. And when I recorded my first solo CD. That's the time I finally get a nod from my dad. Like, okay, this is good.
Wonderful.
So yeah, he influenced me. He influenced me because he plays so many instruments. For me to play other instrument, I can just when I see an instrument, I don't think about I can or cannot. I just grab it and start playing.
Oh my God!
I think that made a big difference for me. I'm not afraid to touch anything that's played. That's because my dad, because he plays so many instruments, and he's my first big inspiration.
Yes.
Then when I went to the school, when I was 11 years old, and my professor, he was the master of Hu, and he was the first chair in the Chinese, one of the best orchestra. He was the concert master for 27 years in China. And he wrote a book that time when Chinese don't have a lot TV broadcasted through the radio station. He wrote a book, so a lot of people learn Erhu from his
so good.
his radio, that book, radio series. So and he influenced me big time. I feel like there's two fathers in my life. He treated me like a father, and artistically, and even in real life, he take me, to eat,
Is it hard being far away from those two people?
Yeah, my professor passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, and my dad, I miss my dad, and luckily we can FaceTime, all that, video chat, and so that's not too bad, but I'd rather go there,
And so when you came to America, what have you been doing musically in the past decade?
Yeah, so like I said in the beginning, I didn't think I can do anything with the music. So my ex-husband Ken Hartman, that's his name, and he said, "Why don't you start play in the nightclubs, coffee houses?"
Oh wow!
I'm like, really? Like in China, we play in the theater, for lots of audiences. Like from here, I go to the coffee house. So like, I'm not used to it. Like, okay, he said, just do it. Okay. I just started playing, and soon, and he would put my if we have a show. I have show stuff. He'll put my flyer in the record store, stuff like that. So he make flyers to put out. So he really helped me started to, get on the shows performing, because I didn't know the country, I didn't know the culture.
And how did the people react to your music in coffee houses and in these venues?
Yeah, they just can't believe a two string, so tiny instrument produced a big sound. and they really liked it, and that really also encouraged me. And I could do something, with this. And soon enough, I got a call from Angia from Midtown Detroit, and she called me. That's my first big gig for the Festival of Art. Festival of Art, yeah, Detroit. So that's my first big festival I played, and then started playing and got called from DIA.
And what kind of music did you play in that festival, for example?
That time, first I played. When I came here, I also went to Wayne State to take a class. Their class looked like a computer, finale, computer notation class. I want to learn. So I went there. There's an advertisement on the board says female musician needed. Says vocal. Piano, violin, or whatever. Whatever. That's me. I'm the whatever. So I said okay. So I answered that call. I said, I like to, what was gonna do. So the guy called Matt Murder. He said, okay, come over. I have a guy who plays the mandolin. Let's jam tonight. See what's come out there. So we started a band. He started a band. So I joined the band, and three of us started playing. So we call ourselves XD Way at the time.
What did you
XD Way.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we started. I think the first. I'm not sure which first one show I played with them or by myself. Kind of forgot. I think, but I just remember that they gig, and yeah, that's how I started playing. And we had 3-piece like guitar, mandolin, erhu. Then later we will cover songs from Beatles, stuff like that.
With this
with
instrument?
this instrument as the solo as the voice stuff.
Oh my goodness.
So I listened to those. Make me I really love the song. I really want to sing because I always want to sing when I when I in China I did sing a little bit, but I didn't know the right technique to sing. So a couple of songs I'll have my throat. I couldn't. It just get hurt and I couldn't do it. So we had a doctor in my school. It's a specializing in voice. So I went there. That was when I was even in middle school. I really want to sing, right? So I went there and said, take a look at my throat, see if I can be a singer. So he said, open your mouth. So I said, he looked at it. He said, oh no, you're not good for a singer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you can sing.
Wow.
This bombed me so much. I was so sad. Oh my God. He said I couldn't sing. He's the expert. And then I just stopped a while. And then I really want to sing. I kept singing it, and but my throat hurt so bad. I was convinced he was right. I couldn't sing. So I stopped, but it was really, really sad. So when we had this band, when we were here, I said, I really want to sing, You just can't stop what you really want to do, It's just always there. I want to do it. So so the guitarist said, no, I just want to keep it an instrumental band. I don't want to
So you had to do it yourself, right?
So the mandolin player said, why don't you sing? So then we had another guitarist join me and the mandolin, and we had a bass join in. So it became a 4-piece band.
Oh my God. So has anybody out there experienced the same type of thing that we're talking about right now, that you wanted to do something so badly and there were people who you kind of looked up to, who you thought were experts, who constated that no, you can't do that, you're not made for that, you're not sufficient enough for that, or even some people, I've heard some people who thought they were told they have broken voices, so they thought their voice was broken. Which you can't have a broken voice. I mean, it's impossible. So please share with us your experiences and let us know if if the same thing happened to you, that destiny and the forces of life itself bypassed these temporary blockades, and when this happened for you, did you feel like it took you to a higher somehow spiritual power or something like that?
I was just happy.
Yes.
Just so much happier
Mm-hmm.
when I finally started singing. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna sing. Then I better learn how to sing correctly because I remember
Uh-huh.
my voice. So I start taking voice lessons.
And how do you sing correctly?
I
Tell us.
I took lesson from Miss Kate Hart. She
Mhm.
so I went to her. So I told her the story. I've been told I don't have a voice. She said, "Oh no, voice is an instrument.
Uh-huh.
You can practice, and then
Mhm.
of course we cannot be OB Pavarotti, but
Mhm.
you can sing."
Mhm.
So I started taking lesson with her, and then
What kind of voice work does she do?
she's a jazz singer.
Okay.
She's a jazz singer, and
Mhm.
she, I think she's Grammy nominee too.
Mm-hmm. And you did
Yeah.
that in Detroit?
Yeah, in Detroit. In
Mhm.
Detroit, I started taking lesson with her
Mm-hmm.
here, and after a few months, I can sing 3 hours, no problem.
Oh.
I was just so happy. Oh my God!
My
I said,
God.
"This is all worth it for me. Like, this is all worth it.
Can
Just
I ask you a question? I
come
don't
to
know.
America, just sing."
Oh yes,
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you,
Yes.
I didn't talk to you about this before. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Do you want to sing a little tiny bit for us?
My singing is not where I want to be.
That's okay. I mean,
uh,
you're a multi-talented artist. You don't have to be superior in one thing. You do
Okay,
a
I can
lot of
try.
things.
But
Okay.
if you want to cover your ear later.
Okay.
Right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. 不知道为了什么，忧愁它缠绕着我。我每天都在祈祷，快赶走爱的寂寞。那天起，你对我说，永远地爱着我，千言万语随风飘落。
Thank you. That was so beautiful. It sounded almost like the spirit even of the instrument you play. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very, very natural but very powerful and simple and beautiful. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're kind. Thank you for kind comments.
Yes. You are watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. This is Creative Chronicles. I'm your host, Biba Sheik. We are with Zhao Dong Wei, and she has made the bridge from China to America a couple decades ago, and she's a master musician who's bypassing boundaries and creating new languages, merging Chinese and American music, ancient and contemporary music. And I want to know, I'm going to ask you a very philosophical question now. I want to know where you are philosophically, like what are your meanings in your work. Like there's a lot of different art out there, and they all have different concepts, different belief systems, different thought patterns. I don't know, different ways of connecting to whatever they think the truth is. And so what are the meanings and intentions, ideological intentions of your work, and what kind of groups do you associate with?
You know, for me, music always just pure joy. Like when I do it, I just having so much fun myself. I feel almost like think about it, I'm just selfish, being selfish. I'm just enjoying it.
Okay.
I do it. You know, I don't like, yeah, I'm classically trained, and then I have really open mind for things like, or if I never try to put myself in categories. Um, what I am. I just go, even when I create, I don't think, okay, what style this song gonna be. Like, but lately I do have a project that I had a little thought to it.
Yeah.
So the all started from the Thanksgiving last year. I mean, the year before. This is already 2022. So I in the Thanksgiving day, I woke up. You know, I just sit by the piano. I start playing a piece. You know, just fooling around, and I play it for a few minutes. Oh, this sounded good. But I should record it and share it. I just feel like a Thanksgiving. I'm really thankful. So that song is called Thankful. I just feel, you know, just thinking about, just feel,
That's what I wanted
feel
to ask you.
fortunate.
Yes.
You know?
So the
I just
song
feel-
you're talking about, the song you
Yes.
sang, right? Yes. I wanted to ask you what were the words to that song, or something about the song. Yeah. And you wrote that song,
Oh,
or
that
your
song, no,
your
that was not my song.
that was
the
your
song I sing was like
teacher, right?
no, the song was called 千言万语, means 1,000 words. It's about love. It's a love song. It's like, you know, you told me you love me, you would love me forever, and then it's not. It's that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All the sad love songs. Yeah, that was that.
Yes.
So the and about the piano piece I played on the Thanksgiving. So I shared it like a couple of hours later. I shared it on the Thanksgiving day, and so when my daughter came back in the afternoon, she went to her dad's, and she come back. I played for her. I said, "Do you like the song?" She said, "Yeah, I like it." So I said, you know, sometimes I hear some music like easy listening piano music. I said, oh, that kind of song, I can write a bunch of them. You know, I sometimes I just say that to my daughter. I say, you know what? How about mom sit there, write a bunch of them? It's kind of, you know, joke, and then like, now joke. Okay, I'm serious. So she says, sure. So I start writing, and like that week I wrote like 4 songs. I just sit there, and then I just feel like really like pouring out of me. I just sit there and write. I play a chord. Oh, it's good. So I start, and you know, because this, like I call it easy listening music. Why don't I like? I did have this thought. Why don't I write something? This is you know, nice background music. I can write something people can study and relax about it. Like you know, when we were classical trained, I've always I guess lots of classical musicians or myself was like that. Okay, this is deep. This is great music. It's so deep, you know, high class or deep. You know, I said, why don't I write music for everybody? Like you know, everybody can enjoy it. Don't have to have a you know deep music knowledge to enjoy it. So that's why that project started. So I started writing that album. That I'm hoping I can release that album this year.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how many albums do you have out?
I have 2, 3, and I have a vinyl. I have two full lengths and the EP. I have a vinyl, and I have a couple of them recorded. Have not published yet, but I have recorded.
I'm going to play the next song and it's going to be very different from the one we heard before, right?
Yes.
And you'll talk to us a little bit. We only have a little bit of time, but here it
Okay.
is, and you'll hear the contemporary music. Wow. Wow, that was amazing. Have you for your country in a way taken this instrument to new heights? Are you the only one who's doing this with this instrument?
No, I'm not the only one.
Okay. Well, we only have 1 minute left, and I want you to tell people about your website, where they can contact you if they'd like a concert or to book you or for any kind of lessons or anything. So go ahead and give them the information.
Yeah, you can find me at xiaodongwei.com. My name, should I spell it?
Yes.
XIAODONGWEI.com. And I'm playing a concert March 18th with the Royal Oak Symphony. I'll be playing concerto piece with them.
Royal
Oak Symphony.
with the Royal Oak Symphony, March 18th.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have, my new projects is, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have a YouTube channel. Just look for my name, and I'm working on projects mixed with computer, all this modern music with a traditional instrument.
Okay.
I did a music for WDET. They had a called the artist next door. They commissioned.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us. It was a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very much.